Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Crowdfunding for Art series. My name is Sammy Morger. I'm part of the team here at Crowdfunder, where I'm broadcasting from live this evening. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be focusing on creating your project. So hopefully some of you came along to the last session where we were focusing on planning your project. If you haven't seen that session yet, you can watch it back on YouTube, and the link is just below this video in the description box, so you can find the link to go back through that. For each of these parts, there is also a downloadable pack that you can use to help guide you through. First part, as we focused on last session, is planning your project. Today, creating your project, there's a pack for that. And finally, running your project, which is all about how you get pledges in. And there's also a pack for that. You can find all of those packs and all of the videos. They're linked to from the Eventbrite page, which hopefully you've signed up for in order to be here today. If you haven't signed up, again, the link is just below the video here, so you can find that there and any other information you might be looking for. So a quick recap on what we covered in the last session. We focused on these 3 key elements for building a really strong foundation for your project. Today, we're focusing on creating your project. This is really my favourite bit, is where you get to have a little bit of fun. First of all, we'll be looking at how you tell your story, both through the written description and also through the medium of video. We'll be looking at rewards, what to offer, how to do that, and what might be the kind of rewards that you might be able to offer. And also looking at target, how to set your target, what's a realistic target, and how you can work that out. So let's start by having a quick look at a real life project, one which is live actually on the site right now. So we're going to go over to the live site and take a look. So this project is Samphire Festival. This is one of the projects which has been approved and actually received funding through our Crowdfunding Plus Arts scheme from the Arts Council. And you can have a look as you go through their page at all the different things that they've done, what they've included on their page, and get a bit of an idea as to why they've been successful. So first of all, you can see that they've got a really great, really bright video there at the top that you can click play on. As we go down through the page, I can see there's some fantastic visual content. The way that they've set it out is really, really nice. It's really easy to navigate through and get a real feel for what it is that they're doing at the festival, what kind of festival it's going to be. They've even added in more video content and lots of additional information that people are going to want to know who might be thinking about coming along. And as you go back up through the page, you can see here on the right-hand side all of their rewards, and you can see how many people has pledged on each of them. So you can get a bit of an idea as to which kind of rewards are the more popular ones. You can also see up here, there's a donate button. So anyone can also donate to any project on Crowdfunder. The final thing that we can see is that they're actually into overfunding. What that means is they've already hit their initial target, which was £12,000. They're now going for their stretch target with the days that they have remaining. And we'll come on to that a little bit more later. So let's jump back over. First of all, let's look at telling your story. There's a page that talks all about this. Actually, it's a couple of pages in part 2 of the pack. So do please go in there and work through the activities that are in that pack. You'll find that really, really useful. First of all, looking at what it is that you're trying to achieve. Now, that might be something physical. It might be that you're trying to put on a production or a performance. But you need to go a level deeper than that. What is that actually trying to achieve by putting on that production or that performance? Is it that you're trying to nurture talent? Is it that you're trying to encourage young people to be active? Are you trying to encourage unity within a set location or community? What is it that is kind of the purpose behind, the motivation behind what you're doing? What is it that makes your project great? And we can swap that word great for many other words. What makes your project interesting? What makes it exciting, unique? They're all the things to think about. What makes your project stand out to the crowd? And finally, who you are and what's your experience. This bit is really, really key. Not only will it help to build credibility with that audience, in them sort of trusting that you're the right people to deliver on this project to make it happen, but also people fund people. It's really important for your project to be very human and relatable. By showing yourselves, the team, your faces, your names, telling people a little bit about yourself, that really helps to build that sense of connection and of them almost sort of being familiar with who you are. Once you've nailed all of that, definitely get someone to go through and check over what you've done, check your grammar, your spelling, maybe give feedback on other bits to include. And then you're ready to add some texture to the page. And this particularly for creative projects is where a lot really, really shine. So adding in images, photographs of your performance, of your work, of your team, yourself, designs, development phases, maps maybe as well if your project is in a specific location. All of those things that really help to visually tell the story. It might be that you've got some data that you can put into a really smart infographic, something that you can represent in a much more visual way. Do, of course, use headings to guide people through. We saw some really great use of headings where they've actually added in an image for each heading on Samphire. Really, really important to guide your reader through. If they come onto the page and just see a big chunk of text, that's really off-putting for someone wanting to read through and find out and really get engaged and motivated by your story. And finally, do add some testimonials if you can. It's really worth having these other voices on the page, people saying, I love their work so far, I'm really excited about this or that. It helps to build the sense of you having a crowd before you even have one. It makes it look like your project is popular and that people are interested in it, which is, of course, exactly what we're trying to do here. Now, the other way of telling your story is through video. And I'm going to say, first of all, that it's not essential for you to have a video. If you are looking to have a video, there is a full page that goes into lots more detail on the do's and don'ts of shooting a video in the pack. But in summary, it doesn't have to be professional. Use your camera phone, that's absolutely fine. Don't overcomplicate it, keep it very short and sweet, and get some real people on the screen. If you're too nervous to do it yourself, try and recruit someone in who's more than happy to talk on camera. And even better, if you can get some of your team, or maybe even the people involved or benefiting from the project on the camera as well. Don't put too much pressure on yourselves when it comes to shooting a video. Sometimes over-scripting and sort of going, this is the final take, can make that really difficult. So roll with it a little bit, just leave the camera going, kind of say what comes natural, and hopefully one of the takes will come out as you want it. Now, rewards. This is the section that we probably get asked the most questions about. We hear it quite a lot. I don't have any products that I can offer. How do I give rewards? I don't know what it is that I can do. Now, what I would advise is actually working back from your audience. If you remember from part 1, where we were looking at planning, we did that network map. We were talking about the different kinds of people that you might want to access within your audience. So work back from who they are and think about what it is that they want, what's going to motivate them, what's really relevant to them, and start from there. Think about what's worthwhile. What are people going to look forward to receiving or coming along to? Really great ones for artistic projects can be experiences or events. So perhaps you could do a pottery masterclass, or you can invite people along to a music event. You can do something really casual. It doesn't have to be a big sort of black tie do. You can just invite people around to do something or get involved with something. If you do have work, be that through tickets to a performance or physical things themselves that you can give away, it's definitely worth exploring that as a reward. Perhaps drafts or designs, prints, anything like that at all that people will really cherish and treasure and want to put on the wall. or put on their coffee tables. Those kind of things work really well. Of course, you don't actually need to have rewards on Crowdfunder. You can run a donation-only project. That's absolutely fine. If you're thinking, actually, the vast majority of my audience are supporting my project just because they want to see it happen, because they really believe in what I'm doing, it might be that actually rewards are less relevant for you. What I would say is that projects with rewards tend to have a larger average pledge than those without. So it's something worth considering and thinking about just for that fact alone. When it comes to working out your target, there's a couple of things to bear in mind. And again, this is a question that we get asked really often on Crowdfunder: is my target realistic? Now, actually, you can do the maths, you can work that out yourself. It's a bit of a balance between how much you need to actually make your project happen and how much is realistic from your crowd. So I find it much more useful to think about targets in terms of people rather than money. So if I'm looking to raise £250, I can work that back and say that, well, the average pledge is £50, so I need 5 people to pledge in order to raise 250. I also know that only 1 in 20 people who look at the page will go on to make a pledge on average, which, if I do the maths really quickly, it tells me that I need 100 people to look at my page in order for 5 of them to pledge £50, makes 250. Hopefully I haven't lost you along the way there with doing those sums. So using those numbers to work back and work out how big your audience needs to be is really, really useful. Do, of course, take into account fees and any costs you may also incur when you're giving out rewards. And you should be able to get a really clear picture as to what kind of target might be realistic. If you've got a couple of numbers and you're not really sure which one to go for example, if you think I need £1,000 is the absolute minimum in order to be able to do anything, in order to make this project happen, but actually 2,000 would be great because there's so much more I could do with 2,000. Generally, my advice to you would be go for the £1,000 first of all as your initial target. Hit that quickly, hit that within the first couple of weeks, and use that to springboard on to the 2,000 as your stretch target. And you can set that stretch target and edit it at any time. So again, if you end up hitting 2,000, you can go again to 3,000 and you can keep going. So it's better to be a little bit more conservative and hit it really quickly, so you've got that success story and that positive news to help to keep things rolling. The other thing which you get to choose on Crowdfunder is your funding method. We actually have 2 options. First one, all or nothing, does what it says on the tin. You need to raise the amount of money that your target is set to in order to walk away with the cash. So if your target's 5,000, you need to raise 5,000 in order to get the money. If you don't raise 5,000, if you fall short, you don't lose anything, your backers don't pay anything, you're not charged any sort of fee. Essentially, just nothing happens. The project's unsuccessful. It won't go ahead. Flexible funding is kind of the opposite. So it's keep what you raise. No matter what your target is, no matter how much you raise, you keep whatever's been pledged. At this point, people usually ask, why would anyone go for all or nothing? Flexible funding seems like such a safer option, such an easier option. And in many ways it is. It is safer in that no matter what happens, you'll walk away with the money. But we do find projects on all or nothing tend to do better. They tend to actually raise more money. And the reason for that is it's such a greater motivator, not only for yourself, but also for your backers. If you're really close to hitting target, you've not got much further to go, and you can go out with the message, we just need to raise X amount more, and then we can make this idea happen. That's a really, really strong message, and you'll find that will really drive motivation and pledges. So have a think about that and have a think about which might be best for you. So if you've made it through here and you've worked right the way through the second pack and you haven't added a project yet, definitely get on and do that as soon as possible. Start playing around with it, adding things in, chopping it, changing it, see how it looks. No one can see your project until you put it live, so don't worry about having rough drafts on there. It's a good idea to start adding things to a live page as soon as you can, just so you can get an idea of what it's going to look like and what you need to do. If you do have any questions at all, you can get in touch with me directly. I'm at Sammy Morger on Twitter for anything short, sharp and quick that I can answer for you. Otherwise, you can also send us an email. We're at support@crowdfunder.co.uk. If you're looking for any advice on anything, or you're a little bit stuck and not sure what to do, more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So our next session is actually going to be after Easter now. It's going to be all about running your project. So getting launch ready, what to do when you set your project live, how to motivate your crowd, what kind of messages to put out, how to communicate and promote your project. And that's going to be 5 o'clock on Tuesday, the 25th of April. So hopefully you found some of the content in this session useful. Please do go back through the packs and read through that and make sure that you have everything that you need to create the perfect project page for you. I'll see you at the next session, hopefully. Thanks very much.